What are we saying then? Here we go. So yeah, the re-injury rates are absolutely nuts, and today I'm going to be talking about kind of what needs to change, why a possible reason that these injury rates are so high, and if we just look at the ACL stats itself, then we can actually see that these are actually crazy, right? So 50% of people who tear their ACL never make it back to their previous level, or 50% make it back. So then it's like, so that means, for example, if I was playing at a non-league level of football, that if I tear my ACL, that means 1 out of 2 people don't make it back to non-league. Like, I have a 50% chance of making it back there. From there, there's another 25 to 50% which will either re-tear that exact same leg or re-tear the other leg in the next 2 years. So at the very best, we have a 37.5% success rate. If we're looking at success as the amount of people that we actually get back to sport without re-injury, and it's a pretty decent standard to actually hold, right? So then it's like, why is this actually happening? Well, obviously we all know that there's a multitude of reasons that this is happening. Maybe the strength training, it may be the fact that we're playing so much, it may be the fact that the strength training on the other side of injury is not good enough, it may be a multitude of things, right? But one of the biggest is that people after injury actually fall through the gap. And by the gap, I mean it's kind of that phase when you're like in between, maybe you have a certain period of time with your physio and they say, okay, it's like 6-9 months, and you get to this point where they just like clear you, but like you kind of have a plan, but you kind of don't. And even when you were doing physio, you were only seeing them like once a month, and it wasn't exactly exercises that were getting you back to the level of football that you want to be at. And then once you get released, you feel like you don't really know how to return to sport the best. So then you just kind of carry on doing the exercises and then try and play football, and then we have another injury. Like, that's the kind of gap that we're talking about. Like, there's not enough guidance here. There's no clear plan, there's no consistency, there's no root cause solution, and there's a downward spiral. So it comes to the first one, which I was just mentioning there, of like, obviously like the NHS can only do a certain amount, right? But we need to do a better job of resources and education and the guidance and support for people going through this, because this is life changing, right? This is kind of one of the big reasons why I didn't do it, because first, like, I had a good physio to start with, and he cared, and he was good at certain stuff. He wasn't so good at other stuff, like he wasn't training full range of motion or anything like that. But he was alright, like he was good at building leg strength, whatever it is. He then left to go private, and then I got put with this other physio. This physio didn't really care about me, I didn't really get on with him, and yeah, it was just not good. So then I didn't want to go to see him as much. And then the stuff that I was doing with him was a regression on the stuff I was doing with the guy previous. So I was like, well, what's going on? And then I stopped being consistent with it, because I was like, what's going on? And then things just got worse and worse and worse, right? And that kind of started with like the guidance of it, of like, we really just need someone who cares, who knows what they're doing, to be able to tell us, okay, look, this is a tough time in life, because it is. Like, so many people that experience these kind of knee injuries experience some kind of depression, because we lose our identity, right? We identify with being an athlete, being a football player, whatever it is, and we need help and resources and stuff that's going to help us through that, rather than just, okay, you have this surgery, like the surgeon doesn't really get to know you, doesn't really care about you, it's just like it's another knee, and then you get put into a physio that you don't really get on with, and then they say, yeah, see me every so often. And obviously not every physio is bad, like they only have a certain amount of tools available to them. But the most important thing is that they care, right? There's a lot of physios that don't even care. Like my physio, I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience, like my physio didn't really care too much about me or about training. Like, he was fat, and, well, he was skinny fat, like he was super skinny in the arms, but like he had a stomach and stuff. So it's like, how much do you actually care about health? And yeah, so that's interesting. And then there's no clear plan and no clear standards of like, okay, this is what we have to do. It looks like this for the first level of stuff until you hit these standards, and then from here, this is where it feels, and the standards that we do have aren't really good enough. Like, it's just like, once you get to 9 months, like, you just, yeah, you go back to sport, like, you're good. It's a time frame thing, when really it should be, 1, ability, 2, how are we feeling? Those are going to be the main 2 things of like, okay, does our knee actually have the ability that it needs to have? Does our quad have the ability it needs to have? Do our muscles, do our strength standards have the ability that we need to have? And 2, it's like, how does my knee actually feel? How confident am I in doing this? How do I feel as a person? How's my mental health? And that's going to play a big role as well. So that's the second one, of no clear plan. Third one is then no consistency. Like I said, we go into like this kind of spiral where we first start with, well, I don't really like this guy, or these exercises don't really feel like they're doing too much, and then okay, I don't really want to do these, so I'm going to try these, and there's no consistency with an actual good plan. So you may hop from plan to plan, you may see this exercise online, you may try this, you may try that, and it doesn't really end up in results, right? It's like focus is following one course until success. Like that's the acronym, and it's like, well, I know my course works, right? But is someone willing to take a year to change their life? Are they willing to spend 12, 15, like maybe even 2 years rehabbing an ACL when they could do 9 months and then maybe be all right getting back into it? And I'm not saying like that's the case. Like we have people returning way before that, but it's like I would rather someone spend extra time rehabbing and making sure they're super, super strong and like taking all the precautions so it never happens again and they come back better than before. Imagine you come back better. It's actually a blessing in some ways of like people don't get this time off their sport to be able to kind of recreate their body from zero. So what if we actually say, no, I'm just going to take a year and I'm just going to change my life. I'm going to change the entire route of my career, of my life, of my training, of my physique, everything. I'm just going to dedicate this year to it. And that's kind of what we've been saying to our clients of like, don't think this is going to be some quick solution. Like it may be quicker than other methods, but I want you to really like buy into this and turn it into a lifestyle and take a whole year to change your life, because the good things only come over time, right? Like, do you just go through university in 1 year? No. Your school education is like 18 years. You think you're going to know everything in a year? Not necessarily. Then it's like we're not addressing the actual root cause. So it's like an ACL surgery reconstructs the ACL, right? But it doesn't fix why the ACL tore in the first place. And that needs to be done through the strength training. But what we realistically do, not everyone, there is good training out there, but people don't understand it in the way that we understand it of the joint and like the stability and the joint integrity that we need to get to the elite standards in our muscles, in our strength levels, in our actual joint, our mobility, and our plyometric ability before we even return to sport. Like, there's no kind of root cause solution. It's just like, yeah, you go back to doing trap bar deadlifts, or you go back to doing Bulgarian split squats, and you're building this strength. It's like, well, weren't you doing that before? Right? Yeah, and how strong were you before? Right? And then your ACL tore when you were that strength before. So surely you want to do something different, get to new levels of strength, be even better than before. It's like, if we just build the hips and we're not using that knee, if we don't actually rebuild that knee stronger than it was before injury, then it looks like the injury's possibly going to happen again, and we can see that in the stats. And then we go into this downward spiral, right, of like nothing's working, we get into this depression, and we see this of like there's two ways you can go of like, oh, I don't want to go through surgery again, but things just get worse and worse and worse and worse. People end up having to stay on anti-inflammatories, their life completely changes, and they just kind of deal with this pain, stiffness, and stability issue throughout their life. And they just don't really do anything to get better. It's like, oh no, I've just got this dodgy knee, and they identify with having this dodgy knee. That's one way we can go. The second way is like we keep doing more surgeries. Okay, we do a second. I've talked to people that have done like 4 or 5 surgeries. I actually had a few people that came in and done 4 ACL surgeries, and they were like, yeah, it's probably time to do something different. I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea to try a different route of strength training or whatever the method that you done before was, because 3 times more you tore your ACL, and now he's back playing football and he's absolutely rolling. So then it's like interesting. So yeah, that's kind of what the gap looks like, and I talked about this stuff briefly in there, but it's like, how can we actually bridge this gap? It's like we need more people who actually care and actually really like spend their life to understand what they're doing and what they know. It's like I listen to podcasts, I educate myself every day, I research every single day on knees, like hours and hours and hours a day. I'm still learning, I'm still getting better, and I really listen to the clients that we got in. We make sure that they feel good in the process, make sure that they are happy with where they're going, making sure that each an individual situation is getting what they need. And we need more people like this that are willing to keep their mind open to learn new things, to keep getting better and better, learning better methods, and actually just caring about the people that have had their ACL tears. All I would have wanted really when I went through my knee injury was just someone to really, really care and support me through it. Because if someone really cared, they would have figured out a way to help me out and make me better, right? But I was kind of like just left in this pit of like, okay, you're just alone dealing with this knee injury, and I bet that's how a lot of you guys feel. So then it's like, the second thing is like, people aren't making a priority. Like, if you have a knee injury, like this needs to be a priority in your life if you want to get back to football, if you want to get back to doing the stuff you love. Like, this is a lifestyle change, and it can change your life if you let it. It's everything. And I talk to people on calls, and they think like the program's too expensive or whatever it is, and then we look into their finances, look into their life, and we realise, oh wait, you're spending 50 quid a week on takeaways. Okay, well, if we stop doing that takeaway every week and we just cook a really nice home meal instead, you've just saved 40 quid a week. Wow, look, you've nearly paid for the program. Instant solution, but people don't look at those small things and think, okay, well, if I stop buying a coffee every day, and then I make my coffees at home, and then I stop having a takeaway once a week, I can more than afford the program, and that's what I'm going to do because I actually care about this long-term results rather than this caffeine high or the feeling of junk food in the takeaway, which is actually going to make you feel worse in the long term and gunk up your knee even more. So it's like, you actually need to take control and make it a priority. So you don't just identify with this knee. You need to believe that it can get better, and you need to believe that you can get better than ever, and actually buy into the fact of like, I want my life to be better. I want my knee to be better, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to get there. It's like, it's you. Like, whoever buys my program or buys into the coaching, whatever, I can give you everything in the world, and I can motivate you, and I can talk to you, and we can talk about this, but at the end of the day, unless you are willing to implement what I say, which not a lot of people are. Like, a lot of people come in and then they don't even do what I say. It's like, why are you even here? Some people have literally been like I'm going to refund you because you're not doing the work and I don't really want you here. It's like, oh, it's not working, like this and that. So you're not doing it. So if you were to do it, like, it would probably work a bit better. Obviously, there's some cases which are really bad, and like, there is the fact of like, it's just going to take longer for some people, and they're putting in the work and this and that. But a lot of the reason why people don't get the results is because they don't do the thing perfectly, like we say it. Like, I know someone that's going to get the results by how much they're asking questions, by how many form videos they're sending in, by how much they actually want their future to be better. Like, how important is this to you to be able to get back to playing football? Like, did you know that you can actually get back stronger than ever before? Like, more athletic than ever before? And you can actually get to higher levels of whatever the sport you were playing was than ever before? I have. Most of our clients have. Like, we're rolling. And then it's like, okay, higher standards. It's like, okay, well, we get to 9 months and we can do like this triple hop test, but then they don't even observe that they're not even using their knee in the triple hop test, and they're compensating with their hips. It's like, no, we need these high standards to be able to say, this is the current level of ability that you have. Be honest with yourself, be humble, and then this take a while to build up to the standards that we want to hit, so that we can get to the point where we're more stronger than ever, that we're more athletic than ever, and get to the point where we're actually staying in our sport rather than just getting back to our sport. So why would you want to get back to a sport if you're going to injure yourself again? Did you know if you actually got to the right standards, you wouldn't have to go through that again? Well, let's try and get to those standards then. And then the final points are then more emphasis on the holistic approach. Like, we need to be looking at every part of the body. There could be compensations with knee injuries. There could be ankle issues, hip issues. We could like think about the mind. We could look at the nutrition. We could look at the lifestyle. We could look at every single role that plays an account. It's not just, okay, you have this tissue and then that causes pain and it causes this. Like, that, it's not one thing. Like, a lot of people that would go get x-rayed with their knees would have a meniscus tear. They would have some cartilage damage, or they would have this and that, and they wouldn't have any pain, they wouldn't have any symptoms of it. So then it's like, well, one doesn't equate to the entire thing. So it's like, we need to look at everything in a holistic way, rather than just, okay, this is the thing that you do and then this is the outcome that you get. From there, it's then more education. Like, we need people to understand the concepts that we're talking about, and these YouTube videos go here of like, the people that get the results, like I say, are asking the questions that are sending the form videos, and that's because they're getting more educated on the topics. They're understanding it for themselves. Like, if you really want to change your life with your knee, like, learn the stuff that I'm talking about, like, really understand it. Like, put our podcast on repeat, make sure that you understand every single concept, and then it's also like helping more physios and more strength coaches and more other people understand these concepts as well. It's like I've had physios come up to me in real life and be like, we're using your stuff with our patients and we're getting better results than ever before. I love your stuff. And it's like, that just brings a smile to my face, because imagine if my physio was using this stuff. I would have known that it would have been good for me. Imagine if my physio cared that much to even learn this stuff, because it's not like the traditional route of the stuff. It's like, okay, these guys are getting results that other people aren't getting. Like, what are they saying? And you can see this with Ben Patrick. You can see this with any kind of ATG coach, Zach Woodward, all these great coaches that are using this system. We're getting results that are unheard of, and people don't even understand. Oh, I've seen the ATG stuff. Like, I understand it. It's like, no, you've seen a split squat video, or you've seen a step up video. Do you understand what that's actually doing? Do you understand the principles behind ATG, the end range, the short end range, the long end range? Do you understand the how the joint is actually adapting, how the joint is actually feeling when we're using these exercises? And it comes down to I've had the knee injury for 5 years. Like, I've gone through so much stuff with my knee that there's a different level of understanding there when you go through it yourself, right? And usually the best people and the people that care the most have gone through it. So more education. And then I just want to show you this testimonial from Summer, one of our clients that we just posted on Instagram the other day. And if you are looking for something to bridge the gap, if you feel like you're in this place of I'm going to the physio, it's not really helping, or I'm trying this method and it's not helping, and I don't really know how to return to sport. I've tried to return to sport and I keep getting injured, and you just don't feel like you can get back there. Like, we can help you, and we've helped a bunch of other people. And I'll play Summer's testimonial now, and I smile every time I watch it. So just watch this, and then there's a link in the description to apply to our coaching, but I'll end it on this.
After joining the program, when I felt hopeless of never playing sports again, I did a season of varsity soccer, and now I'm doing track. So my results are amazing, and my body feels almost better than they were before. Before I started working with Liam and Kevin, I was kind of at a standstill. I had ACL surgery about 6 months before, and although my ACL, my knee felt fine, it was my quad tendonitis that was really bothering me. I was 16, and I felt like I couldn't even walk up the stairs without crazy amounts of pain. I went to my PT and a few PTs to ask about this, and they just kept giving me very simple ACL exercises and said just go lighter if this hurts, or just stop working out for a little bit if it hurts. So I did that, and I'd wait, it gets a little bit better, and then I'd try to go back to the gym, and it just hurt more than before. So I just felt like I was never going to be able to play soccer again, or sports. That's really what it felt like as it went on for months. My results from the program have been amazing. My hesitation before was money, but I didn't expect what I would get from the program. I used to this day every single day. They really tailor to who you are. It's very, very, very personalized. My biggest breakthrough was, I think in the beginning, was just being able to squat after my tendonitis hurt so badly. My breakthrough just got bigger and bigger, just things I couldn't even imagine, like playing soccer to the ability or to the confidence in my knees as I had before. If you're feeling hopeless about your body or doing things that you used to be able to do, just join and do the program and you'll see amazing results.